Hello everyone, this is Ethan. I'm with Gringo Campesino. This is part 2 of my farm tour. This is the sheep field and around the house. So this is the entrance. If you've seen part 2, my bridge here crosses a river, just a pedestrian bridge. My car's in the background there. Cross the river to get to the main part of my farm. I do own the other side of the farm, if you haven't noticed from part 1. So on this side, you can see I have a field full of rocks. Let me switch cameras and show you. As we're walking to the main part, my house is right over there. I have this trail that I'll eventually fix up a little better. So we have these rocks here. It's obvious when you look at where the river is. It's obvious that this used to be part of the river. So you can see it goes downhill here, and this whole area is just basically an old riverbed. So the soil's not bad, but when I say soil, it's in between these rocks. You see the little cages here. I've planted a number of citrus trees, and I have sheep that roam in this farm to keep down the grass, and I butcher the sheep for meat. I'm hoping within the next year I will be protein independent. I'm just about there with my chickens, and my sheep, the herd is getting just about to the size where I can harvest one and keep myself and my fridge full of meat. So let me take a walk down this path and I'll show you the rest of the house. So this is the walk to the house. You can see lots of firewood. I've pruned a lot of trees, brought down some big branches to give some more light for these new trees that I planted. And right now we've been pretty significant dry season. So everything's a little bit dry. You can see the mountains behind my house. So I'm in a valley. We're facing more or less north right now. And so to the east and the west, I don't get full 12 hours of sunlight because I'm in a valley. But because I'm close to the equator, generally the only difference between winter and summer is about 20 minutes. So as we walk down towards the house, you'll notice, I'm noticing, I got some sheep that escaped and are eating my garden. So let me pause and kick them out of here. Okay, so I got the sheep back where they're supposed to be. So I'll give you a quick intro to the courtyard of my farm around my house. I have a water tank here. This hose here goes all the way up into the mountains, about centered on the camera right up there. So that hose brings me plenty of water for the coffee production. So generally I don't use the water for drinking. I'm connected to actually city water. I'm only about a kilometer away from the city filtration. So I can get city water there, and I'm hooked up to the electricity because actually just over the river here you can see my neighbors, and they're along the main power line. So I'm connected to city power and water. But here in this courtyard area, this is my house here. I'm trying to concentrate on this courtyard as planting fruit trees just for home use, not for production or sales. Here I have my little nursery. I have a few hundred cacao plants. So they will be grafted, and they will be planted hopefully by early next year. I have a few trees. I have a peach tree here, some apples. Over in that corner, that outbuilding I'm using as a kind of a shop to keep my tools and to build stuff. This is the traditional building system here in the coffee region of Colombia. So you can see just a simple roof, a tin roof here. There used to have a drop ceiling here, but I had to remove it because of termite damage. And so as I could deduce, this first building here was the old kitchen. Whoever built this house first. This was a kitchen, and then this is the oldest bedroom over here. And in that corner used to be what was a bathroom. And I think about 30 years ago, they expanded it and they continued the building. And what is now over here is the kitchen, and the rest of them are rooms. So in the structure of and the design in most of the coffee region, they don't differentiate between rooms so that they can be used however you may like. So currently one of them is an office for me, one of them is a bedroom, one is unused, and then this room is for guests. And then have my little bit sad tomatoes right now. My garden's bolting, everything needs to be replanted. So I had some family and some volunteers make this pretty nice mural here. I think add a little bit to it, but it looks pretty good. I have a dog shelter over here. And then let me give you the quick tour of the coffee process. So it's a little dirty, it's a working shed. So this is the coffee machine. So up above here, I'll show you in a minute, I'll go upstairs, but that is a big funnel and that feeds coffee down to here. What we'll do is we'll fill this funnel with water, we'll fill it with coffee, and the floating coffee we remove because it's lower quality. If it floats, it indicates some kind of insect or fungal damage. Then as the coffee comes down, this is turned on and this grinds and removes the pulp, the cherry of the coffee here. Let me see if I can get close and show you. So you can see inside this area, there's a drum with these stainless steel teeth. And so those are sized so it will remove the cherry from the bean. And then as it is removed, the cherries go out the back, the chute out back here. And I can use that for compost. And the front, we have the fresh beans come out. And they go into this kind of like a hopper here with this spiral. And then they come through this sized strainer. And so the idea with this is that this is sized where the beans will fall through, and then the cherries that escaped through the initial process will work their way down this spinning drum and find their way and fall at the end into the bucket here. So I can hopefully reduce the amount of work by keeping the cherries as separate as possible. I do have a few handfuls of cherries that make their way through into the basin here. So the basin will fill with water, and when it's full with water, they'll fill with coffee, and then the seeds will ferment to remove the excess sugar on the outside of the coffee beans. So let me take a walk upstairs. I'll show you. It's a mess. It's mostly storage area, but this up here, that is the funnel. So that's what we fill with water coming from the water tank up the mountains. So actually you can see here, it's full of coffee. My employee harvested a bunch of coffee yesterday. So it's sitting here, and the floaters will be removed and the ones that sink will be kept as higher grade coffee. So I have a pile of coffee over here, green to sell hopefully in the near future when the prices go up. Right now the prices are really bad. I'm not sure I can even make a profit at this point. So yeah, it's very rustic, but it gives you an idea of the coffee process in Colombia.